Indonesia is a great country. We are blessed with strong people. Our communities are eminent. Our networks perform the creation concretely. Indonesia Creative Cities Network is here to acknowledge the challenges for materializing progressive and fair Indonesia. Hand in hand, we unify our spirit and determination from more than 200 creative cities communities throughout the country. We are striving for excellence, empowering each other, and waving the diversity to raise the creative ecosystem that lives and enlivens. Embodying compassionate cities that celebrate the diversity in one strong movement, a creative collaboration for our nation.
Hi, I'm Tita, focal point of Bandung City of Design, and this is the Indonesia Creative Cities Network team. Together with UNESCO Cities Platform, we are going to hold the Beyond Urban online conference. Looking forward to see you there. See you.
Beyond Urban, a side event in the framework of U20 2022 Road to G20 Summit, a collaboration between UNESCO Cities Platform and Indonesia Creative Cities Network. Indonesia Creative Cities Network is a hub organization that connects creative communities and initiatives in more than 220 cities and regencies in Indonesia. All ICCN members are committed to implement the 10 principles of Indonesia Creative Cities and the creative economy ecosystem as ICCN frameworks that comply with the Sustainable Development Goal. On UNESCO's celebration of World Cities Day 2021, the UCP launched the Urban Solutions, Adapting Cities for Climate Resilience, with a reflection on the G20 Priorities 2022, Global Health Architecture, Digital Transformation, and Sustainable Energy Transition. UCP and ICCN have developed a new series of urban solutions. Please join us in this 2 days online event that brings the local dimension and cities' contribution to the International Development Forum and agendas. Road to G20, Beyond Urban, on the 28th and 29th of July 2022.
Welcome and thank you for joining us again on the second day of Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit. Apa kabar? I hope you're all doing well and safe, also in the best condition today. I'm pleased to be back as the host of Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit. My name is Vinka Rosalinia Natasha, Deputy Secretary of Marketing and Public Communication of the Indonesia Creative Cities Network, or ICCN. And first, I would like to express gratitude and greetings to the UNESCO Cities Platform for collaborating with ICCN to deliver this side event in the framework of U20 2022. Also, to the spokespersons, moderators, and participants of all sessions on the Plenary 3 Digital Transformation and the Plenary 4 Sustainable Energy Transition today. Yesterday, on the first day of Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit, we had followed the plenary one, Climate Resilience and Action, that covered the initiatives and objectives of Beyond Urban in connection with G20 priorities and urban issues, particularly climate resilience and action. Also, the plenary two, Global Health Architecture, that discussed how public health and related solutions also services could be conceived and delivered inclusively in urban areas, as well as how to address public health issues through modifiable environmental factors in cities. Now, we are going to start the plenary tree digital transformation that will revolve around digital transformation and climate resilience, especially on how digital technology and development transform cities and urban life across different urban aspects and inspire technology-empowered climate solutions. Together with the distinguished spokespersons from the Disaster Risk Reduction Program, You Inspire Indonesia, UNESCO Media and Information Literacy or MIL Alliance for Latin America and the Caribbean, ICCN Solidarity Act Rescue Task Force, Web3 Task Force, also Special Economic Zone Singasari is Java, Indonesia. For leading the plenary tree, I would like to give the stage and space to my colleague, Mr. Dia Satria, Head of Banking and Finance Studies at the University of Brawijaya, Indonesia. And now he has joined us here for Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit. So please welcome Mr. Dia Satria.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Road to G20 Summit Beyond Urban Site event in the framework of U20 2022, initiated by UNESCO Cities Platform and ICCN. Thank you very much, Finka. My name is Dia Satria, Deputy of Foreign Partnership in ICCN. Today, we will have a very special topic, and I will moderate about the digital transformations. I think we have 6 speakers, Ms. America Bendito, Climate Resilient Infrastructure Officers, and also we have Mr. Mizan Bisri, Head of You Inspire Indonesia, Mr. Felipe Sibas Ortiz, representative of University of Sao Paulo and UNESCO Mil Alliance like Committee Media and Information Literacy Cities, Mr. Greg Wuryanto, Lecturer of Architecture, Department of Duta Wacana Christian University, Mr. Adrian Zakari, Independent Commissioner of PTPN 3, and also Mr. David Santoso, Technical Consultant at the Exit Technology Singasari, Lokanima is Java, piloting CCE-based circular economy. So this topic is really interesting. As I mentioned before, does the digital transformations offer solutions to the climate change crisis? Or is digital transformations a source of emissions? Because when we look at the data based on the World Economic Forum, the digital transformations has the potential to cut the greenhouse gas emissions by 15%. So we will hear from all the speakers to explain, to share the ideas how to identify the suitable role of a digital transformation, especially in the climate change agenda. Hopefully this sharing will also give insight to the local governments to effectively use the digital transformation for good, especially for the climate change. So for the first speakers, Mrs. America Benito, please.
Good morning, good afternoon to all. It is a pleasure to be part of this event, Road to G20 Summit Beyond Urban, to raise awareness, connecting climate resilience within the context of G20 priorities. Can you hear me well? Do you see my screen? Perfect. Next slide, please. Soon, most humans will live in cities. In this figure, we can see in blue the percentage of population currently living in urban areas, where the Americas are the most urbanized at the moment, with more than 80%. By 2035, most of the world's population will live in metropolitan areas. We will have over 2 billion people in G20 countries, living in cities with more than 300,000 inhabitants. Next slide, please. It is also unquestionable the fact that the hazards faced by cities are increasing due to the adverse effect of climate change and other global challenges. Recorded by the Emergency Event Database, 2021 was the fourth most damaging year over the last 2 decades. 2021 had more disasters than the amount of disasters in the last 2 decades. It has been called a year of extremes. Next slide, please. We need to step up efforts to manage existing risks that have built up over time, while preventing as much as possible future risks from being created. UNESCO accelerated supports on the member states operating at the interface between natural and social science, education, culture, and communication, in building a global culture of resilience in a multidisciplinary, multi-hazard, and multi-stakeholder engagement approach to ensure that the most vulnerable are not left behind. UNESCO approach to disaster risk reduction operates at 8 specific thematic areas: science, technology, and innovation, including artificial intelligence; early warning systems to anticipate climate change and natural hazards; build environment, providing policy recommendations in land use, urban planning, building codes to ensure disasters in climate change are in reduction; education, school safety, making critical infrastructures like school safer when a disaster strikes; disaster risk reduction for culture in UNESCO designated sites. Another specific thematic is ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction, post-disaster response, and risk governance and risk-informed programming. UNESCO explores both conventional and innovative solutions for effective preparedness and response, with priority in Africa, SEEDS community countries, gender, and youth. Next slide, please. UNESCO is working in many disaster risk reduction activities around the globe. Due to the time of this presentation, I will mention just a few. Next slide, please. All these activities are done through international scientific collaboration, including the private sectors and its different academic networks and programs. Next slide, please. Advances in digital technology are increasingly transforming the way cities are operated and managed. However, it is needed to address the digital divide between those territories that are at the front and those with a lack of digital capacities. UNESCO, in collaboration with Japanese companies, developed a smartphone application called Chatbot, which is powered by artificial intelligence and supports communications between citizens and first responders before, during, and after the natural hazards. Why before? It is important that the weather forecast and warning alerts are disseminated to the community so the citizens are alerted to make necessary actions. During the hazards, the authorities need to have a quick overview of the damage. With a chatbot, communicates with the users to collect the information with text and photos. This will help the authority to better understand and react to the disasters. And after the hazard, it is expected to go back to normal as soon as possible. The chatbot communicates with the survivors who need assistance to find out possible public support, such as location, distribution of food, etc. Training workshops has been conducted in Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, where more than 500 participants were trained on the artificial intelligence applications. This will help organize better response and recovery activities in the occasion of disasters. Next slide, please. Working with the University College London, UNESCO chairs in disaster risk reduction and resilience engineering, a framework using an advanced artificial intelligence approaches was developed and will be applied initially in the Dominican Republic. This framework estimates, first, the disruptions to school due to multiple hazards, like we see here, earthquakes, landslides, floods. Quantifying the resilience of school. How? Through a network by modeling causal effects and correlation between the physical, the function, and the social vulnerability aspects of the structures. This framework also explores strategies for recovery plan. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, America. You have 1 minute left.
Okay.
If
hazards occur in vulnerable populations, they can become disasters. Youth can be vulnerable, but can also provide very useful solutions. UNESCO applies a comprehensive and future-oriented vision, recognizing youth as agents of change, social transformation, peace, and sustainable development. UNESCO, with international agencies, has been engaged in establishing youth platforms to support disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. UNESCO has already established these 3 youth platforms. AGAP in Africa region, Caridima in the Caribbean, and You Inspire in Asia Pacific region. With my colleagues, we'll give more details in the next presentation. We hope a lot of youth, scientific and professionals from the SEEDS countries will be involved in these platforms. Next slide, please. Thank you, colleagues, for the opportunity to speak, and looking forward to continue to work with all of you, building a safer, more resilient, urbanizing world. Thank you.
Perfect, Ms. America Bendito. Thank you very much. I also will notice to the other speakers, we only have 5 to 7 minutes, and there will be a bell in the minute 6. So please beware for the time. Thank you very much, Ms. America, and we will continue to Mr. Nizam Bisri. Please.
you very much, Mr. Chair. Good day, sir, ladies and gentlemen. May I request the support from the technical team to share the material? Thank you very much. My name is Mizan Bisri, lead of Inspire Indonesia, and also affiliated with other entities. And today I would like to speak about the role of youth and young professionals under the umbrella of Inspire Alliance in advancing digital transformation for urban resilience. Next slide, please. Inspire Alliance is an alliance of youth and young professionals working to support a disaster risk reduction. Currently, we are having 14 chapters across Asia and Pacific, and we are having this vision to promote and to facilitate coordination and collaboration among youth and young professionals using science, engineering, technology, and innovation for disaster risk reduction. The foundation of U-Inspire movement have been greatly supported by the UNESCO at the Jakarta office and also at the headquarters, whereby UNESCO provided key coordination opportunities that resulted in the establishment of various national chapters and also regional alliance. The innovation brought about by the members of U-Inspire Alliance, both at chapter level, entity level, and also individual level, is in support towards the goals of Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, SDGs, Decade for Safe Ocean, and also other regional agreement on disaster risk reduction. Next slide, please. There are several forte of U-Inspire movement in terms of advancing and leveraging on the digital transformation and also digital technologies for disaster risk reduction. First, on risk communication, education, and community awareness, technology design and innovation, ensuring and also promoting technologies for the use by local communities, and also generating citizen science, research and dissemination, evidence-based policy making, including until global level to confluence the implementation of SFDRR and also SDGs, as well as pushing for social entrepreneurship, whereby youth and young professionals can be independent and also can quickly utilize their capabilities in science and engineering and technologies for risk reduction. Next slide, please. And today I would like to focus on the role of youth and young professionals in advancing digital transformation for urban resilience. I will give some of example from the U-Inspire members, both the organizational member and also individual members, in terms of leveraging the digital transformation for sharing data and knowledge towards resilient development. In short, there are three roles that played by U-Inspire members as data and knowledge producer, broker, and also synthesizer. And at the end of the day, it is about leveraging and also bringing these good practices at the transformational level for urban resilience. Next slide, please. The first example came from our colleagues from U-Inspire Nepal through the Youth Innovation Lab that harvests and also create this digital and innovative platform that can harvest lots of hazard information, including for climatic hazards and also tracking climate change and potential impact in terms of disaster risk, and also enhance preparedness at the subnational level and also urban areas and rural areas in Nepal. And this has been directly adopted also by the National Disaster Management Authority of Nepal, and this is bring an example whereby the youth can pioneer a change and the utilization of digital technologies for enhancing the resilience of the country. Next slide, please. Another example came from the movement and also the activities of U-Inspire Alliance in support of UNESCO Future Literacy Unit, and also in support of the UNDRR implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. This is an example of youth and young professional as producer and also synthesizer, whereby in this future thinking and also future literacy activities, the youth also bring and also try to synthesize what would be our future looks like by utilizing digital technologies and how it will genuinely enhance the resilience, and accelerate the achievement of the 2030 SFDRR, SDGs, and also to think about what would be the future looks like towards 2045. This process have been completed throughout last year and will be further disseminated this year. Next slide, please. Inspire also in support of the UNESCO Education Unit to enhance the digital skills, training, and also competition for students to promote women leadership in terms of producing and also utilizing ICT. Basically, this intervention is to transform some of the barriers that faced by girls and women in the field of ICT and science towards an empowered girls and women who are confident to create ICT products and also its implementation. Next slide, please. Another example that came from the Inspire Alliance members is an entity called Chari, which I also led, a form of social entrepreneurship that brings about and combine Google Maps and Google Scholar-like capabilities to harvest and to utilize machine learning to capture all the knowledge base published by scientific communities across the globe, and then visualize them in terms of the risk map and also to provide information about what are the available knowledge that actors, policymakers, businesses can enhance their resilience, create safe investment informed by science already produced by scientific communities. So in a sense, we have a boom in terms of data, information, and knowledge. Naturally, we need the support from machine learning and also AI so that we can quickly harvest the knowledge available and make science-informed policy making and also development planning. Next slide, please. And at the end of the day, this example also shows that the actors have challenges amidst this wealth, knowledge, and data, so that we need machine assistance and also a strategic broker and also synthesizer who can make sense of the available knowledge and make sound and targeted disaster risk reduction intervention. Next slide, please. And a little bit more personal because, next slide, please. I'm currently also based in Kobe, which is a UNESCO Creative Cities, and actually born in Bandung. And next slide, please. And actually, this combination brings the and brought Chari comes into existence, whereby at the end of the day, we can utilize digital support, which is Kobe City is also providing, tailored with the presence of our team back in Bandung in Indonesia, so that we can provide and utilize digital technologies for resilience building. Next slide, please. This is my second to last slide. At the end of the day, by this combination, support by UNESCO Creative Cities and also startup movement in Kobe, Japan, and also the relation in Bandung, Indonesia, at the end of the day, we can provide footprints that enhance urban resilience in Indonesia and beyond over the past 4 years, including in the Philippines, Laos, PDR, Cambodia, and also in Japan. And this is translate directly to some of the portfolio in enhancing urban climate resilience in these countries. Next slide, please. In short, through the example of You Inspire Alliance members, we see that there are 3 main roles played by youth and young professionals in advancing digital transformation for urban resilience. 1, as producer, 2nd, as broker, and 3rd, as synthesizer of data and knowledge that are essential for building disaster and also climate urban resilience. Thank you very much, and I hope the content is useful and inspire this activity.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, please, Mr. Philip Chibas. I think we can hear your voice.
You can hear my voice?
Yes, very clear.
My do you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
I can begin it?
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah,
Thank you.
no worries.
Thank you so much. I want to know. I am the Professor Felipe Chivas Ortiz, Associate Professor of the University of São Paulo and Regional Representative for Latin America and Caribbean of UNESCO Middle Alliance. I would like to thank UNESCO and the organizer of the event in Indonesia for the opportunity, and would like to thank you to authorities and those all present. I will show the social side of cities in my slides. I will show 3 points in my slides. The first, the concept of mill and mile cities. Second, the application that we are making of these general concepts in Latin American and Caribbean vision. And the third, the conclusions. Please go to the slides. Please. My work is this: the future of urban space, pillars of the world network of media and information literacy cities. Please, the next slide, please. What is media and information literacy? Oh, no. Yes. That's it. What is the media and information literacy? Media and information literacy is considered a combined set of skills, but also practical convergence, where journalists, information specialists, libraries, educators, among others, and their related activities meet. Today, we are even thinking about aiding new social actors, such as marketing agencies, startups, technology-based companies, etc. Mail is considered essential for citizen participation, good governance, intercultural and interfaith dialogue, and sustainable development. Please, the next slide. Please, the next slide. But what is a mill city? A mill city or media and inform? Oh, no, please. Please, go back. Please go back. That's it. What is a mill city? A city or media and information literacy city is a framework developed by UNESCO, our urban space that can use artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technologies, but with ethic, respect for diversities, organic empowerment of every citizen, education, critical and creative thinking, valuing ecology in a sustainable way, and a new effectivity. This framework has synergies or includes others such as sustainable cities, smart cities, healthy cities, educational cities, creative cities, innovative cities, and others. While cities are in line with the U20 search agenda. This point is very important, this last point. Thank you. The next, please. The next, oh, yes. The cities is a center in this model. We have 13 mill cities indicators and other metrics. For example, we have the first indicator, city hall, public institution, participative government. The second, roads, urbanism. Third, integral education. Four, integral health. Five, culture. tourism and leisure, 6 libraries and museums, 7 associations, NGOs, 80 companies, industries, 9 artificial intelligence startups and others, 10 citizen security, 11 children, women, and other vulnerable groups, 12 environment and sustainability, and certain integration metrics. Other, please. But the more important thing is the center of this model are the citizens. But we have, of course, the connection with the objective of the vision in the 20th century agenda, and especially of the objective number 11, sustainable cities and communities. The next, please. The next. That's it. What is a mill university city? This is a very important application of the general concept. We propose cities that implement mill city framework in a planet-wide, which can also be applied in a smaller urban space, like universities or campus, to in neighborhoods or even space. A mill university city is a university that applies the 13 indicators and metrics of the mill cities on its campus, which values the use of the new technologies and innovation on its campus, but with ethic, respect for diversities, and seeking to apply in this urban space, in the practice, what it shows in the theory with their professors. The next slide, please. So we have a Latin American and Caribbean view about mill cities. In this book, Navigating in the Infodemic, we organized this book with the professor Sebastian Novominsky from Argentina. And in this book, we have a very important vision and applied vision of media and information literacy. We have in this book 60 internal, more or less, more than, in my opinion, we have the vision here of different continents too, international vision. Go ahead, please. The next. The International Innovation Center for Development of Cities with Media and Information Literacy in the University of São Paulo. This is a proposal, our proposal, to found a center about these matters. It's a innovation. It's a new vision, and this vision is based from in this book, from smart cities to mild cities. Metrics inspired in UNESCO's vision. This book and this vision is a research vision, and we have this application. The name is Mill Cities Metrics application. We have this application, and this application evaluate the cities with these metrics and these indicators. It's very important to evaluation, because the evaluation is the form, the way to obtain solutions for the city. Thank you. Please, the another slide. Oh,
hello, good afternoon, everyone. So it's an honor to speak in this forum and talking about very important and very good, excellent cause to mitigate the urbanization and also working towards the global warming and also like the circular economy. So my part today, I'm talking about the more practical side about developing the spatial economic zone and how we want to build this as a community-based economy as well as making this a circular economy. Next. So we are developing a Singasari Special Economic Zone. So we are one of the 18 special economic zones in Indonesia. We have two main activities next. One is the tourism, next. And one is a technological development for an area of 120 hectares. The first phase is 44.8 hectares, and it was granted back in 2019. Next. So the tourism zone, there are other 7 special economic zones in Indonesia. And for the letter P, the technological development zone, we are the first in Indonesia. So it's designated for research and technology activities, design and engineering, applied technology, software development, IT sector. Okay. Next. Next. It's strategically located in Malang, so it's 70 kilos down south from Surabaya, the second biggest city in Indonesia. And Malang is well known for the education region because it has 60 plus universities in the region and hundreds of thousands of university students, as well as the vocational students and secondary higher education from around Indonesia. So I think we are talking today about how to make the circular economy because in pandemic, then we realized that the tourism sector will not be the favorite sectors, at least for the next few years. I think the digital transformation and digital sectors has the tailwind. So we work on the digital transformation and we offer like 3C model. It's a computing, content, and commerce. And today I want to bring the case study for the content industry. So we identify 4 problems of the content industry in Indonesia. And the number 1 problem is the infrastructure. Next. Next. Because all of the studio, the animation studio is scattered around Malang. Although, like in order to make like one animation series, we need the collaborations of several studios. One studio is just writing the story. One other studio is making the sounds. Other studio is making the 3D and 2Ds. But when they are scattered around, it's very hard to collaborate and coordinate. So, to problem number 1, we give away the land. It's a 5.5 by 6.5 meters square. We give it to the individual studio. So, and then we bring them to the local banks, the Bank Nasional Indonesia, to get the subsidized microfinancing. So with that 5.5 times 6.5 meters square, they have 2 types of loan. They get the investment for the buildings, and also they get the working capital loans to do like the projects. Next. Yeah, so the finance, we incorporate them, the studios, to the subsidized microfinancing. And then the number 3 is the off-taker. So we try to aggregate the smaller studio and establish a nucleus company. And then we work together with the state-owned enterprise, working with the Telkom Indonesia, which have IPTV, they have OTT. We work with the PFN, it's the state-owned Indonesian film company, and also some private TV broadcaster. Next. And the number 4 problems is the human resource. So we gave away another 1,000 meter of land, and then the government, the Director General for Vocational, they built a Center of Excellence for the animation schools here, sitting side by side with the 20 studios that's established in the zones. Next. So this is just the pictures recently that we are opening up the studios. So I'm very happy that it used to be they're scattered around. They need times to collaborate. They don't have the steady electricity. They don't have the steady broadband connections. They are struggling with the working capitals. They don't have the infrastructures. They don't have the off-takers. They have troubles to market their products and services, and they have problems into recruiting the creative talents. And with this small model in the zones, so we prove that we are not building the zones, the special economic zones, in a single corporate model, but we do like the community-based plasma and nucleus model, and this model works very well. So today it's altogether we have 300 animators and also the filmmakers, and we hope that to be like a 1,000 creative content creator by the next 3 years. So thank you for the time for this sharing. Hopefully this useful for our reference. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Diaz. It is my turn.
Yes, please, Mr. Craig.
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I would like to present about the topic about ICCN National Solidarity Act. The committee, would you please share my PPT? Okay, and the topic is about empowering connectivity and creative network for collaborative disaster mitigation program. Next, please. At this point, I would like to introduce what we call RESCUE. It is an acronym in Bahasa Indonesia, which means Emergency Response for the Effective Community of COVID-19. RESCUE is a kind of disaster mitigation program, which is part of the ICCN program called Aksi Bersama Bantu Sesama. ABBS is ICCN collaboration program in responding to COVID-19 pandemic. Next, please. Launched in May 15, 2020, ABBS consists of 5 programs. Rescue is one of the program as an emergency response, and then ICS, Indonesia Creative Store, Pulih, Damping, and Ajar program. Every program here has their specific roles in order to empowering effective community to accelerate its recovery during and the post-pandemic period. Next, please. In our initiation program, Rescue has collaborated with the State Minister of for Cooperative Small and Medium Enterprises and also SMESCO in order to deliver aid packages for local artists and creative community in West Java. We already deliver about 1,000 masks and also 100 hazmat and gloves to this community. Next, please. Rescue also collaborated with the Masker Untuk.id to deliver 20,000 masks to Waingapu, Isumba, and also in Morotai. And this program is very special. It's aimed to help elementary school students. And then next, please. And also, Rescue has made collaboration with the local partners in Karangasem, Bali. Yeah, yesterday we have listened from Mr. Gunatawa. He mentioned about the Samsara Living Museum. So we collaborate with Samsara Living Museum in their unique program to provide hand sanitizer made from Balinese local wine called arak. This program is very unique because it's like a people-to-people neighborhood partnership. So I think this is a good example how the local wisdom can be involved in this kind of mitigation program. Next, please. And Rescue also collaborated with the effective farmer in Cianjur, West Java, in providing fresh and healthy foodstuff for local artists of ondel-ondel in South Tangerang. This soaring program is also unique because we was not only help ondel-ondel artists, but also help effective farmer in Cianjur to recover their decreasing economic situation. Okay, next slide, please. And we started make a partnership with the Ministry of State-owned enterprises to deliver vitamin A to affected community. Rescue management started to develop a kind of a distribution system in this time. Next, please. It is also because of the minister want to receive the report very systemic. So we start to make a kind of system. The aim of system is to provide systemic mapping for vitamin A distribution chain. Next, please. The target of this program is for the creative community or creative activists affected by pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, the public communities, and also the volunteers. The volunteers itself is our proposal because we realize that the volunteers also have a high risk when they deliver this aid to the affected community. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, this mapping system has been synchronized with the dashboard of ICCN database system in order to have an integrated ICCN database program. So we are ongoing to make a kind of integrated database in ICCN. So when we have a special occasion, special program, our data will be actualized. And next slide, please. To develop a digital database system, Rescue initiate to have a joint program with ManPro to provide and organize storage system, distribution system, and also report system of the vitamin A from the minister. This program is also for making accountability and transparency of the aid distribution because it is very important for our partner in the future. Next slide, please. And the mapping system design itself consists of 4 parts: the receiving, distribution, network, and also the sharing. Next, please. And next slide, please. And each part is reached by the data, that also the technical requirements, and also in the future, complexity of this data system can be improved in line with the increasing variable of the information itself. So here we can see in every part, the volunteer must fulfill the form about how much is the amount of aid package, the type of aid package, the location, etc. So if we have the information, the new information from the field, we already know and put this data to our database system. Next slide, please. And this is the implementation, how we apply the system when we deliver emergency response aid distribution to the Semeru eruption during this pandemic period also. And we can see from the picture that the volunteer sending the integrated data of distribution, which is also involving a GPS map camera to show the actual report. So this is very important point because by the system, we hope that we have another future partnership with many many stakeholders. And then the nice thing that we develop here is that the volunteers really helped by this kind of system, because to report their distribution, it's quite easier now. And the next slide, please. Okay, disaster mitigation is a kind of collaborative work. So we open our hand and join with us, please. Thank you very much.
Yes, I already unmute. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you, UNESCO and ICCN, for inviting me. So I feel honored to be here and to share our journey in Beyond Urban Event Road to G20 Summit. So on this digital transformation plenary, I will share my journey in Web3 from last 2021 to now. As we know, like digital transformation journey already come to the top level of our technology right now. So from the Web 1.0 to the Web 2.0 and now Web 3.0. So beside the phenomena, we also notice about some controversy in the blockchain technology, but we also talking about how the blockchain technology come from the community to community. So this is really good things that Web 3.0 is about community and also the commitment to present better environment, and also the society that want to make better world. Also decentralization technology, transparency, secure, and also we are now on the right track. In the ICCN, we have something we call Web3 innovation with the real world impact. So next, I will explain about something that ICCN do in the last 8 months, I think. Like we do our the things like we know about the trends, maybe the before, yeah, before the presentation, yeah, the trends, yeah. We see that many trends in Indonesia and in the world, like blockchain technology, also like Facebook trends become Meta, and also like metaverse technology, NFT, and also that in Indonesia we know the Gozali everyday effect is like a young guy that viral in Indonesia that's selling NFTs with very high selling. So we come to the one place that already have a digital ecosystem. So we started in Bali. Why Bali? Because Bali have abundant resources. Bali is very rich, natural resources and also people. Yeah, in Bali have Balinese artists, and also many people come to Bali. Bali become the window of the world, and more than 100,000 digital nomads live in Bali. So in Bali, the blockchain technology and also the blockchain community is growing. Web3 project also growing, and also many NFT enthusiasts growing in Bali. So we noticed also like in last year, Web3 ecosystem is still not here in Indonesia, and also maybe the world also trying to make the good ecosystem. So we building the ecosystem in starting in Bali. Next. We do the things that how to building the ecosystem of Web3. So we do the connection, we do the education, nurturing, and also development. We meet people, we do the roadshow to Bali first, then we went to Malang, Ponorogo, Yogyakarta, Solo, Magelang, Semarang, Bandung, Lampung, Palembang, and for sure Jakarta as the capital city of Indonesia. After that, we also concerned about the education. We do the education not only for the artists, but also community itself, moderators, social media people, NFT enthusiasts, traders, collectors, investor, activists, and also businessmen. And after that, we do the nurturing. Many projects of NFT and Web3 become just an idea or pitch deck presentation. So we came to nurturing the project to be wise and make the real impact to the world, like economic, social, culture, environment, people, and also society impact. And after that, we do the development right now in 8 months, we already developed more than 20 NFT project in 12 cities. We also partnering with more than 500 artists for design studio in Bali, Malang, Bandung, and Jakarta. We also have have society in blockchain engineers. We also have 3 launchpad and 1 venture capital society. Next. We do the first thing is like how to build the Web3 ecosystem is the connecting. So we connect it to the people, we connect it to the artists, to the creators, and also we do the movement with them. The second one is community. We meet the enthusiasts of the Web3, of the NFT, and also the people behind it. We also concern to the environment where there is business things about the social, about the culture, about the places and many things. And also the technology. We connect to the people of the technology like smart contract people, the apps, NFT, metaverse, and many developer that concern in technology of the blockchain. And after that, we also connecting to the investment like investor, VC, collectors, and everything. So we have the concern in ICCN Web3 Task Force is to build value first than money. So we meet more people to do the connecting. Next. After connecting, we do the education. The education is come to the first thing is for beginners to the public that want to learn about the Web3. And the second one, we also do the education for the advanced people. In the beginners, we do the NFT workshop, digital art training, introduction to Web3, and also XYZ starting project, how to make the project. And for the advanced thing, we do the technology, blockchain technology training. We also do the training for the project management. We teach them about the smart contract and also knowledge about the DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. And also we do the pitch mentoring. Next. After we do the education, now we also do the nurturing the project. The nurturing is the important phase to develop Web3 project is how to nurturing them. We engage with stakeholders in technology, blockchain, Web3, and entity. We have two program, NFT Clinic and Web3 Utilities. We focus on to not only make an ordinary NFT project, we also focus to build the real impact to the real world. The key things is the real impact. In the Web3 utilities, we bring many partners to join our movement. We keep focus on how Web3 can help the better world, especially how Web3 should bring impact to economic, social, culture, and also society. Next. Yeah, this is how we development after nurturing is next developing more than 20 NFT project in 12 cities in Indonesia with the hashtag like the real world impact NFT. Next, please. Just like I said before that, sorry, yeah. And after that, we also do the direct impact. Next. This one is our community guy named Rakajana. Next. Digital art by Balinese young artist Rakajana present in headline of the Kompas newspaper like in the last June 2022. Beside the art, Rakajana also give the explanation about NFT art and the future of artists in Web3 era. So education is the key to build the ecosystem. So this is our artist Rakajana that become the headline of the Kompas last July. Next. This one is what we talk about the impact. The first thing like impact for society. Rakajana made HNS studio in Tampak Siring, Bali. He enabling to 20 young people in Tampak Siring and work together with Rakajana. And also we know in Indonesia we have the big NFT project Superlative Seeker Society for young people from Indonesia. Build a successful NFT project and become the early people started NFT from Indonesia. Next. The impact for the people and culture, we have a coffee first in Makassar. They want to enabling coffee farmers. And also in Yogyakarta, we have Perkasa, Wayang Superhero. This is like become the first Wayang Dongeng fairy tale puppet from Bagong Subarjo to recreate in digital. And we want to build the studio for Pak Bagong to production the new Wayang. Next. And also we do the impact for environment, like we have a project like 70. This is the ocean conservation, dedicated to the ocean conservation and restoration effort and to educate people and to promote the awareness of the issue. And also we have a Dark Ghost Places project that have a environment impact. This is come from Malang with vision to develop a hidden gem traveling spot in Indonesia. DGP grow community to not only visiting place but also connect with local people, sharing knowledge, increasing creativity to monetize the site. Next. We also have like impact for wellness. This is goodless archive that have an impact for the color blind people. And we also concern to mental health issue NFT project that come from Bali. Next. This is also, we have a human resources, like we have a Sumba, Bali Bondon NFT project. This awesome project is coming from Billy as a young figure from Sumba, an island in eastern Indonesia. This is initiated a movement through the human resources in Sumba. Next. This is the digital fashion as a solution of the fast fashion. This is, we concern about the environment. So today our concern also in digital fashion NFT. This item will be used in metaverse in the near future. Digital fashion could be solution for the fast fashion industry in the world, and the journey is still young. All right, the time is okay. Next. Okay, this is our chairman of the steering board ICCN. Once I quote, like digital is just a medium, not the purpose. So we must create the impact. Yeah, we must create the real economic and social impact for Indonesia. So in ICCN, in Web3 task force, we have to be creative to explore the local culture and also narration to optimizing the domestic resources. And Web3 will be part of the third wave of digital disruption for Indonesia. The metaverse or Web3 is not just a 3D visual world, but a hybrid with the real world that has a good impact. That's coming quote from Wisutama. Yeah. So thank you from me. Let's connect after this.
Perfect for Mr. Adrian Zachary, closing this session with the metaverse issues. I think we don't have a lot of time. I just want to wrap up what we are talking about for today about the digital transformation and its impact to the climate change. I think we have a really interesting 6 speakers today. Thank you very much for Ms. America Bendito, Mr. Mizan Bistri, Mr. Philip Sibas Ortiz, Mr. Greg Wurianto, Mr. Adrian Zachary, and also Mr. David Santoso. What we learned today, they give us the framework and also the lesson learned about the digital transformation and its impact to the climate change in Indonesia. Hopefully, this will give the insights, especially to the local government, the policymakers, can effectively use the digital transformation for especially fixing the issues of the climate change. Okay, thank you very much from me. Thanks a lot for your attention for today's plenary session, and we'll see you in the next plenary sessions. Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you very much, Mr. Diyar Satria, for leading the plenary 3. Next, we're moving on to the plenary 4, Sustainable Energy Transition, that will focus on the efforts towards net zero emission through nature-based sustainable energy solutions, including lessons learned from local expertise and experiences. Together with a distinguished spokesperson from the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities, City of Goyang, World Heritage Cities Program, Cultural Foundation, also employ Space Indonesia. For leading the plenary 4, I would like to give the stage and space to my colleague, Mr. Prananda Malasan of Design Ethnography Lab, Bandung Institute of Technology, or ITB Indonesia. And now he has joined us here for Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit. So please welcome Mr. Prananda Malasan.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Vinka. Good afternoon and good morning, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, and also our wonderful guest. Welcome to the final session of Road to G20 Beyond Urban, initiated by UNESCO Cities Platform and ICCN. So it's a great pleasure to meet all of you. I am Prananda from Design Ethnographic Lab ITB. I will be chair of this session for the next hour. This is the final plenary where we'll have a wonderful presentations by 6 distinguished speaker. So our topic for this session is sustainable energy transition. Yeah? So in this session, we will discuss the efforts to achieve net zero emissions through nature-based sustainable energy solution, and also learn and hear the best practices from the local expertise and also experiences in how they address these issues through their everyday practice. So yeah, our first speaker is Mr. Raul Valdez. He is a representative from UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities. And also we'll have our second speaker is Mr. Dong Hwan Lee. He's a mayor of Goyang. And also the third speaker is Mrs. Alba Zamar Bide. She's a specialist on World Heritage Cities Program and Historic Urban Landscape, and also representing World Heritage Cities Program. And our fourth speaker is Mr. Andre Dubari, a founder of Cultura Foundations. And our final speaker will be Mr. Handoko Hendroyono. He's a founder of Mblock Space. So each speaker will be allocated the time to present for about 5 to 7 minutes, and following order that I mentioned before. And also there will be a reminder, a bell sound to each speaker 1 minute before the end of each turn. And afterward, we'll continue to the questions and answer sessions. So if you have any questions during the presentations, please type them on the chat box, and I will read hopefully all questions during the questions and answer sessions. So without further ado, please welcome our 5 speakers. And the first speaker will be Mr. Raul Valdez. Hello, Mr. Raul.
Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. It's a real pleasure. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to join you virtually on the road to G20 Summit Beyond Urban that is taking place in Indonesia. My name is Raul Valdez. I'm the team leader of the program Area Skills Throughout Life at the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning in Hamburg. And I'm the coordinator of the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities. It's one of the cities of the UNESCO family, focus on cities. We know that the Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face with a particular emphasis on the urgency resulting from climate change. In that sense, we have been hearing in previous presentations that local actions can lead to the mobilization and awareness raising of local communities. In that sense, the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities, with over 220 members, is driven by the political will of leaders and their awareness that lifelong learning is very much connected to the place, to the environment, to the space where citizens live, learn, and work. In short, to the ecosystem surrounding them. We promote lifelong learning, and that means effectively building bridges between the formal education sector and diverse non-formal and informal learning environments in order to create new opportunities for a variety of the learning needs. Launched already 10 years ago, this international policy-oriented network provides inspiration, know-how, and best practice. The network mission is to support and accelerate the practice of lifelong learning in the world's community by promoting policy dialogue, peer learning among members, forging links, fostering partnership, building capacities, and developing instruments to encourage and recognize progress in building learning cities. Well, the size of the members in the UNESCO GNLC ranges from cities with less than 10,000 inhabitants to capitals with almost 20 million inhabitants. Regardless of their size or the GDP, these cities share the common goal of mobilizing resources across all sectors to maximize the opportunities for lifelong learning for all. Member cities focus on the following 5 priority themes: education for sustainable development, global citizenship education, learning for health and well-being, education planning and monitoring, and equity and inclusion. Members are united in the belief that by making education for sustainable development a key component of their lifelong learning approaches, their cities will be equipped to tackle the challenges they face with regard to climate change. At both the policy and the practice levels, cities have implemented various initiatives focusing on combating climate change and dealing with its existing and future consequences. Despite their contextual differences, member cities are eager to share their experience and good examples of education for sustainable development, thus generating ideas on how to shape a more inclusive and sustainable community, and how to continue working towards a successful implementation of ESD. Some cities have adopted an action plan for sustainable development, providing opportunities for all citizens to become change agents. That means to be the co-creators of the process, of the plan. And this is involving a lot of voices of the society. Some others develop modules or capacity building workshops, webinars for cities on ESD and green skills developments, part of the learning city model. So it's the way for encourage capacity to all citizens in the topic. On the case of Goyang, we will hear from the mayor how the city supports new and renewable energy facilities with the goal of raising its energy self-sufficiency rate to 20% by 2030. All in all, the network facilitates partnerships and flows for learning cities to learn from each other and thereby strengthen innovative production and circulation. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll follow attentive the discussion on this last session of the event.
Good afternoon. I'm Lee Donghan, Mayor of Goyang City. It is my honor to have the city of Goyang join this session as a member city of the GNLC. I'd like to thank Prananda for the questions, and I'm glad to meet Rao, who has actively cooperated with us with great interest in the lifelong learning programs of the city. Environmental challenges such as climate change and energy transition cannot be addressed with declaration alone. The problems require lasting changes in perception, behaviors, and lifestyle, meaning that the formation of civic culture is the final piece of the puzzle to tackle environmental problems. Civic culture is typically formed in 2 ways. First, laws and policies drive the formation of civic culture. Second, citizens voluntarily create civic culture by changing behaviors. Allow me to look at the first approach to create civic culture. At the international level, intergovernmental organizations have developed the institutional framework and policies and made green investments to fight environmental disasters such as climate change. And at the city level, where citizens settle, practice-based approaches are being taken. Goyang City signed a letter of intent with the UNFCCC Secretariat to develop and manage the greenhouse gas accounting system. The system, which measures and reports data on carbon reductions, is expected to help the city validate and standardize carbon footprint data. Meanwhile, to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement, the city of Goyang is working hard to cut 2.258 million tons of CO2, which is 32.8% of the BAU levels by 2030. To this end, the city supports new and renewable energy facilities with the goal of raising its energy self-sufficiency rate to 20% by 2030. Goyang City also presented its net zero by 2050 roadmap, under which it encourages private sector participation in transition to a low-carbon green society by revising the Goyang City Energy Ordinance and enacting the Framework Ordinance on Carbon Neutrality and Green Growth to tackle climate change, and requires the monitoring of greenhouse gas reductions across 92 sub-sectors. Of course, Goyang City is not alone in this endeavor. Members of the many city networks such as C40, the UGIH, and the UCLG are making great efforts to cope with climate change. And I believe it is time to step up the efforts. However, as laws and policies force the formation of civic culture, citizen participation is unlikely. This is because civic engagement begins with citizens becoming self-aware of the seriousness of the climate crisis and taking steps to solve environmental problems. And this is why we must pay greater attention to creating a citizen-led civic culture. Then, what are some other ways to build a voluntary civic culture? The answer lies in Mark Twain's words. Quote, education does not mean teaching people to know what they do not know. It means teaching them to behave as they do not behave, unquote. In other words, education is the most powerful tool that can form civic culture on the current environmental issues. In fact, a large number of environmental educational programs are already in place, but I see some areas of improvement as they tend to focus on generational equity for the future generations and enhancement of ecological sensitivity. It is my belief that environmental education on climate change and energy transition should be redefined. Environmental education is neither a process to help students acquire specific skills nor practice-based learning. Environmental education is the most fundamental activity required to sustain our planet, which supports human life. This type of environmental education program can produce more tangible results when carried out at the city level than at the international level. Therefore, I suggest that U20 continues to discuss how a virtuous cycle in which initiatives engage more citizens to environmental education and promote responsible citizenship can be reinforced, rather than engaging in dialogues about securing energy access, advancing smart and clean energy technologies, and driving finance for energy. I believe that More concrete action plans will be identified at the UCP level, including UNESCO GNLC, just like Goyang City, providing incentives to its citizens who accumulate credit as they successfully complete environmental training modules. The formation of civic culture to ensure a sustainable energy transition once again requires us to move from rhetoric to action. COVID-19 reminded us of the necessity and power of global solidarity. Together, we will overcome any obstacles. The city of Goyang will stand ready for the new paradigm and join forces for global solidarity. I hope to see you in Bali in November for further discussion. Thank you.
Hear me?
Hello, Alba. Yeah, yes.
I think there's a problem with the microphone.
Okay, I
Yeah.
can hear now. Okay. So do you want to share your PPT slide?
Are you
Do you
sharing
hear?
it for me, or should I just?
Oh, yes. The committee will share
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yes, please. Okay, perfect.
It's on now. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm here today representing the World Heritage Cities program at the UNESCO World Heritage Center. And next slide, please. And I am sure that all of you are familiar with UNESCO World Heritage. The convention appeared in 1972, and at the time it was very much based on what is monumental heritage, the international approach to heritage based on monuments and compounds, etc. Since then, the concept has evolved a lot, including cultural landscapes, for example, different criteria or approaches to authenticity, etc. And in the early 2000s, due to some challenges in some of the World Heritage cities due to construction and development in the city centers, there were these debates of what is acceptable, what is respectful to the city and its history, etc. And in 2011, the UNESCO recommendation on the historic urban landscape appeared, and it defends an approach that shifts the emphasis from what was monumental preservation and conservation to urban values and this on the grid of the life of the city. Next, please. So as you see in these three pictures, it would be a shift from what is a city as a compound of monuments and scenery to activities of the people living there and the people themselves and their values. Next, please. So in this case, the approach is defending an indivisible compound of layers, different layers that appear in a historical city that cannot exist without each other. So we can go from built heritage to natural heritage and the natural context, tangible elements, intangible elements, festivities, attachments, etc. Universal values that are what the World Heritage Site has been inscribed on the list for, but also local values, what local people appreciate. Next, please. So in terms of management, think about it. We are used to, we urban planners, because I'm an urban planner myself, we were used to working with maps, plans, these aerial views, designing boundaries around a historic site. And now we have to deal with blurred boundaries, human activity, and different overlapping layers. So it's a new approach to this management that goes beyond silo approaches. Next, please. And this, of course, is very much in line with the new urban agenda and the sustainable development goals that appeared a bit after the historic urban landscape recommendation. And we are working in synergy with this. Next, please. So in this context, one of the biggest challenges for historic cities and cities in general right now is climate change. 90% of cities are on coastal areas right now, and very much at risk and suffering climate change effects already. And next, please. So the recommendation puts emphasis on the centrality of the natural components and geographical position of cities as part of this character and historical identity. So instead of relying only on new technology and big projects, we put the emphasis on understanding the past, the know-how of our ancestors and communities, and see how we can use it for actions right now. Next, please. So with the cities program, we've conducted a series of dialogues with site managers of different cities. And these are three examples of what they have told us that reflect how this past know-how of understanding of the natural context in relation to the design of the city, how it helped design the city. So you can see Bahrain on the left, in which the area marked with a line was an upper part of a porous rock that was left as a cemetery for infiltration of water, while the city located in the surrounding areas to avoid any floods, etc. In the Msad Valley in Algeria, originally the different settlers, the groups of people, were in charge of managing the water systems, and only allowed temporary constructions in what were the river beds. However, now with the change in modern planning and the administration, the land management, this is bringing some problems. And then the final one is the town of Bangberg in Germany that has a very strong traditional agricultural production in the city. And this has been linked to the cultural promotion of the city. And the production of crops has been enhanced, supported, and it has contributed to water catchment and resiliency and some recuperation of old crops. Next, please. Now, to conclude, I'm going to show you three examples that come from this canopy platform that we have created, in which you can find different types of innovative actions linked to heritage and for sustainable development. Next, please. So this is a project in Bengaluru in India that engage local communities to revive the shallow well construction tradition to allow them to manage access to water and to build capacity among them. Next, please. On a completely different level, this is the city of Strasbourg in France. And on the occasion of the renovation or the actualization of the management plan of the heritage site, they decided to make an inventory of the different green areas and blue areas along the river and to include them as part of the protection strategy as a way for resiliency and improving the life in the city. Next, please. And this is the last one. It's the city of Urbino in Italy. It's a small town that has put a very strong effort on creating a sustainable energy and climate action plan. They compromised to reduce their CO2 emissions by 25% in 2019. And now they are integrating both the energy and climate action plan with their heritage management plan, showing that they are both very much related. Last, please. So thank you very much. If you want to check more case studies, you can go on our website, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mas Prananda, Your Excellencies, distinguished speakers and guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Raul Valdez, Mr. Dong Juan Lee, Mrs. Alba Zamarbid, Mas Handoko Hendroyono, committee, would you mind showing the slide for me? I bid you all very good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. It is such an honor for us, Cultura Foundation, to be in this forum, and I would like to express my gratitude to the organizer for such an opportunity. My name is Andre from Cultura Foundation. I would like to explain a bit about Cultura first, and then slowly moving on to how actually our organization can get involved or participate in increasing awareness related to many aspects such as climate change, energy issues, and other SDGs related topics. Next slide, please. Yeah, so Cultura was founded as a journey to involve as many people, institution, organization as possible to join hands, hopefully to slow down the rapid extinction of so many Indonesian traditional cultures. Indonesia is a nation of diversity. We have at least 300 ethnical groups, more than 1,340 tribes, 700 local languages. These numbers represent the culture of variety and magnificence, be it the aspect of art, song, performance, craft, culinary, but especially its local and indigenous wisdom. Most of the cases, the loss or disappearance of such knowledge and wisdom is not caused by the message or value being irrelevant to the present era, but it's just simply being wrongly presented. Perhaps it's the only way they are being communicated, exhibited, or performed that is irrelevant or outdated, not the substance nor the message. Pop culture approach might be one of the solutions to transform and embed the substance into more acceptable medium or format to the audience of the present time. Or we can just repackage the experience into something more easily digested. Whatever that is, the first mandatory step is to do the data collecting, mapping out the knowledge and wisdom, and after that, designing the right experience to not only tell more people about it, but to participate as well. I believe the only way such cultural wisdom could be immortalized is only when they are being learned, experienced, and practiced by the young people in the urban areas. Next slide, please. So Cultura's journey to do the research and data collecting effort is the backbone of our whole activities. Our founding members have many great opportunities to do research in several remote rural areas in Indonesia and are even involved in developing local traditional festivals. These were the perfect ingredients for Cultura to do documentation on so many indigenous knowledges that are surprisingly relevant to today's global issues. On the other hand, what we do with the data that we collect is also vital. It is the effort we orchestrated to achieve the solution of the problems mentioned before. The whole activities need to be approached two ways. The internal, as in to bring as much positive impact as possible to the local traditional artists, performers, crafters communities, focusing on sustainability and regeneration. And to external, as in to communicate such values and messages to as many people as possible, focusing on designing the best experience and narrative strategy. Next slide. As was mentioned previously, it is imperative for Kultura to collaborate with as many people as possible, as many sanggar, some sort of traditional art and culture studios, as possible all around Indonesia. You can see from the picture, from Sanggar Arif Ersada in Dokan Cultural Village Karo, to Sanggar Dabiloha in Tobelo, from the west to the east part of Indonesia. These are Kultura's hub, our frontier to learn and understand more about the local and indigenous wisdom. On a monthly basis, we aim to financially support some of the sanghas, not much, but it helps the sangha to keep their operation, such as doing regular exercise, training, or practice. But at the same time, Kultura and the sanghas also discuss what program we should be doing together, what event to create, or what event to participate in. Next slide. And so such relationship made us possible to get to know more and learn that so many local values, knowledge, and wisdoms are really relevant to present day's issues, such as environmentally friendly food gathering concept being practiced by the customary forest or hutan adat, the green traditional pawan concept for kitchen design, and energy efficient traditional building house design and material. This might be the closest to energy related topic. And then like the beautiful connection between Ijuk broom maker and their impact making sugar plantation produce even sweeter. And there's even like the story and song of Smong as disaster mitigation plan in Simolo Island. These are just only samples on how our ancestor, our predecessor had already thought seriously about many issues that matter today. It's already there. It's up to us to learn about it, present to the public, and practice it ourselves. Next slide. And so the next step is to design such an experience that easily brings out the best of those values to more people. Jamuan Kultura, as example, is a dinner session we designed with selected and well-prepared traditional cuisine, packaged with captivating traditional dance and music performance, and properly closed with storytelling from our Sanggar partners. Annually, we are planning to hold a festival of cultural tradition to invite many cultural enthusiasts from all around Indonesia or even world to enjoy the experience directly where it was created originally. Our first Cultural Festival will take place in Toba Lake 2023. So to put it simply, Jamuan is like our push strategy and Cultural Fest our pull strategy. Next please. And this is my last slide. Communicating such values, Indonesian traditional local wisdom and knowledge is in any kind of form, be it dance, song, even game, story, or IP to international audience is also what we have in mind. This year we brought React Dance to 50th Roskilde Festival in Denmark. We got great acceptance in the opportunity. Even interestingly, one Tunisian audience went into trance in the station, something that not seldom happens in Indonesia in such performance. Kultura has been asked to provide another magical performance for Roskilde 2023, and we gladly accept the challenge. We are currently also designing a European tour of our curated traditional dance and music together with traditional tattoo culture from tribes of Indonesia. This will be Kultura's journey, our adventures in bringing story and messages from our culture to the eager to learn audience from all around the world. That is all. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hi. Hear me?
Hello, Mr. Handoko.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear, but I cannot see you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you may turn on your camera.
Okay. Now is it okay?
No, it's still
Oh,
not appear.
but I push, but not the screen is not there. I don't know why.
Okay, then so we will help to share the PPT from the
Okay.
PPT.
Okay. So
Okay,
not
okay.
my face. Okay. No problem. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Handoko Royono. I'm my job actually now CEO of M Block Space, and me and my colleague actually creating several place in Indonesia, in Jakarta, Jogja, Padang, Medan. Actually, what I want to share to you from my experience, I want to give you an insight about the rise of local power. So I share about the local focal. Next, please. Yeah. From our experience, we can feel now younger generation are more interested in local brand, local produce than the previous generation. This is interesting for me because when actually in our place we display all of local products and local produce from shoes or local cafes, and also the all UKM or small medium enterprise products. And we can feel that the local become stronger and stronger, and now we have a good etalase for the local product. Next, please. Yeah. So actually, we try to impress the youngsters to more enjoy with the local brand and local product. So we creating a program, we creating an event that relate with the local. So we hope youngsters can relate more, yeah, to us, and that they get different image of small medium enterprise. Next, please. So actually, we not only displaying the local brand or local products, but also we try to creating a ritual or a culture. We call it as an culture Block M or Melawe. So we try to develop a good program that relate with the habit or the the program that relate with the music, movie, and art. Next, please. It means we're not only creating local movement, but also we feel we also creating a new way of retail, a new way of doing business who relate with the modern retail or modern commerce, not only creating how they buy a product, but also creating experience. They not only spend time to enjoy the product, but also we try to create experience who they will loving local products. Next, please. So actually, we try to push not only local product, but also to push, uh, using heritage place to the city, because in Jakarta, people don't have many places who respect to the heritage. So we try to create not only fantastic architecture, but also we create an honest environment who close to people in several cities that we manage. Please, next please. Yeah, and also in the same time, we try to create new habit, which quite close with the green movement. It's like we try to manage uh, the space become more green, more aware to the good environment, and also we respect to the old building. Yeah, next please. Actually, in Indonesia, people like underestimate into the local brand. So we always think local. Mostly people think that local is loser. Local product is, is less compared to the international brand. So we try to push to give a space into the local that, and in fact, I'm sure that local is now is becoming improved, becoming better and better. Next, please. Yeah. So, in other words, we not only creating experience, but we also creating future through the culture. So, from culture to future. This is very important because I'm sure that Indonesia has so many strong heritage, so many strong value that we can translate into the better future for, especially for the youngsters. So M Block Group has ambitious plan to design a city becoming a spot of the culture, as well as the musical hub, art hub, fashion center, and becoming an economic engine, especially in creativity. Yeah, that's my slide, the last slide. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you so much for all distinguished speaker for really interesting and stimulating presentation. So we have seen the presentations from all speakers, ranging from the topics of policy making toward the issues of sustainability, and also heritage solutions for the sustainability, culture in the cities, and also local practices in various regional areas around the world. So let's now moving on to the question and answer sessions. And I would like to invite all speakers to join with me to discuss some questions. Okay, so yeah, I was interested with the first statement by Mr. Dong Hwan, the mayor, about the importance of the civic role or the grassroots community. And he also highlighted the role of civic culture to tackle climate problem and so on. So I would like to ask to Mr. Dong Hwan and also perhaps Mr. Raul and Mr. Hendro, yeah, how to maintain, especially the spirit of the grassroots movement. And is there any problem or conflict to engage the community in achieving the value that you both you built, yeah, and how to solve the problem and conflict? So maybe Mr. Dong Hwan, sorry that previously the slide wasn't appear because there is a technicalities problem. So if you want to answer by showing the PPT, it's fine, yeah, from us. We will have to share the screen. Hello, Mr. Dongwan.
네, 화면 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
Hello. Sorry, Mr. Dongwan, we cannot hear you.
고 네. 통역을 할까요? 네. Right.
Yeah.
Civic awareness is key. Civic awareness is key in developing voluntary civic culture. And the city of Goyang is putting on a lot of emphasis on education to build civic awareness. Education can be done voluntarily by citizens as well as encouraged by the city with various programs. I believe it is important for us to connect learning with actual practice. In other words, connection between awareness and practice is key to achieve true sustainability. The city of Goyang, regarding this, is making a lot of efforts, including the signing of a letter of intent with the UNFCCC Secretariat to develop and manage the greenhouse gas accounting system, and other efforts as well to establish a standardized module verification system regarding carbon reduction data. I believe we have to work harder to encourage citizens to participate in these programs.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. So as the time is already approaching, and I think we already past the time. So that's the final question that we can discuss. Please give huge applause to our speakers. Thank you so much once again, and also to all participants that joined the discussion this afternoon. So hopefully we get all inspired and give a more positive impact to our surrounding people and also the environment. So thank you so much. I will turn the stage to our host, Mrs. Finka.
Dan Prananda, thank you also to all the distinguished spokespersons, moderators, and participants of the plenary 3 and the plenary 4. Now we are reaching the closing remarks that first will be delivered by the Assistant Director General for Culture of UNESCO, Mr. Ernesto Otone. Prior to this position, Mr. Otone served as Chile's first Minister of Culture, Arts and Heritage from 2015 to 2018. As Minister of Culture, he created a Department of First Peoples, a migrants unit, and strengthened copyright laws, also heritage protections. During this time, he also chaired the Regional Center for the Promotion of Books in Latin America and the Caribbean in 2016 to 2017. From 2011 to 2015, Mr. Otone served as Director General of the Artistic and Cultural Extension Center of the University of Chile, which manages the National Symphony Orchestra of Chile, the Chilean National Ballet, the Chile Symphony Choir, and the Vocal Camerata. From 2001 to 2010, he held the position of Executive Director at the Matucana 100 Cultural Center in Santiago. Mr. Otani holds a master's degree in Management of Cultural Institutions and Policies from the University of Paris-Dauphine in 1998 and a Bachelor of Arts in Theatre from the University of Chile in 1995. And now he has joined us for Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit. Please welcome Mr. Ernesto Otone.
It is my great pleasure to close this two-day event, Road to G20 Beyond Urban. Thank you to all the participating cities from the Indonesia Creative Cities Network, as well as the UNESCO Cities Platform. I would especially like to thank Bandung, a UNESCO Creative City of Design, for working hand in hand with UNESCO in organizing this event. Our collaboration with Indonesian creative cities has allowed us to promote the urban solution developed by the UNESCO Cities Platform in 2021 to new audiences. These solutions demonstrate the many ways that culture, education, science, information and communication can be leveraged to support climate resilience and actions in cities. As a result of this event, we now have a new set of urban solutions built on the G20 2022 priorities. They focus on global health, architecture, digital transformation, and sustainable energy transition, and are expected to inform the G20 discussions later this year. For almost 20 years, the UNESCO Creative Cities Network has served as a link between hundreds of cities united by the same commitment to position culture and creativity at the center of their development. With nearly 300 member cities in nearly 90 countries, the network strives to promote international cooperation and innovation, support universal access to culture, and strengthen local culture and creative industries. At UNESCO, we fully trust in the power of cities to generate change on a global level. Most of humanity resides in cities, which represent centers of innovation, economic activity, and creativity. We look forward to continuing this discussion with many of you in Borobudur, where G20 Minister of Culture will meet to discuss many of the same issues that we have highlighted over the past 2 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ernesto Otone, the Assistant Director General for Culture of UNESCO. And once again, I would like to express gratitude to the UNESCO Cities Platform for collaborating with Indonesia Creative Cities Network, ICCN, for this event in the framework of U20 2022, also to the spokespersons, moderators, and participants of all sessions. And we have covered all of the plenaries. Yesterday, on the first day of Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit, we had followed the plenary one, Climate Resilience and Action, that covered the initiatives and objectives of Beyond Urban in connection with G20 priorities and urban issues, particularly climate resilience and action. The plenary two, Global Health Architecture, that discussed how public health and related solutions, also services, could be convinced and delivered inclusively in urban areas, as well as how to address public health issues through modifiable environmental factors in cities. And the plenary three, digital transformation, that covered digital transformation, also climate resilience, especially on how digital technology and development transform cities and urban life across different urban aspects and inspire technology-empowered climate solutions. And the last, we had also watched together the plenary for sustainable energy transition that focused on the efforts towards net zero emission through nature-based sustainable energy solutions, including lessons learned from local expertise and experiences. So I would like to once again thank you for all the participants, including the spokespersons and moderators. And now we are going to finish this event with the last closing remarks from the G20 2022 co-chair Indonesia, Mr. Edi Priyopambudi, and also the UNESCO Cities UCP representative, Ms. Denise Box, and the Indonesia Creative Cities Network or ICCN representative, Ms. Tita Larasati. Yeah, we are still waiting. All stories and updates from these events can also be reviewed on the official social media channels of the Indonesia Creative Cities Network or ICCN Media. Can we have the confirmation for the last closing remarks, please? Okay, meanwhile, I would like to thank the spokespersons from all of the plenaries. Yesterday, we had the Deputy Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Thank You, right here, joined us on the first day. Also, the Ambassador, Deputy Permanent Delegate of Indonesia to UNESCO, Mr. Ismunandar, the Executive Chairperson of Indonesian National Commission for UNESCO, or KNIU, Ms. Icha Hodija, the Chairman of the Indonesia Creative Cities Network, or ICCN, Mr. Vicky Satari. And we also had Ms. Dennis Box from UNESCO Creative Cities Network, and then Ms. Isabel Farrell-Huck from the City of Saint Etienne, Ms. Larasati from the Indonesia Creative Cities Network, also Mr. Ronnie Lopez from Sounds of Green Project Ambon, and we also had other spokespersons that can be rewatched on the Indonesia Creative Cities Network or ICCN Media channel. Very well. Now we have already been able to continue to the last session, and that is the closing remarks from the UNESCO Cities Platform or UCP and the Indonesia Creative Cities Network or ICCN representatives, Ms. Dennis Box and Ms. Tita Larasati, who are going to present the G20 urban solutions outcome document G20 Sherpa, and then followed by the closing remarks from the G20 2022 co-Sherpa Indonesia, Mr. Edi Priyopampudi. So please welcome, the space is yours.
On behalf of the organizers and participants of the online conference Road to G20 Summit Beyond Urban, we, UNESCO Cities Platform,
and Indonesia Creative Cities Network are pleased to present the outcome document of the event to you, Mr. Edi Priyopampudi, 2022 G20 co-Sherpa.
We aspire to propose together practical urban solutions that are focused on the 2022 G20 priorities and aligned with the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
The solutions are particularly aimed at city and city dwellers, so leverage the huge potential of local resources, talent, creativity, and initiatives for climate resilience and action. Please, Pak Edi, accept our document for this event.
All right. Thank you so much. It is honor to receive this document, and we will pass in the declaration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pardon, Mr. Edi Priyopampudi, please deliver your closing remarks.
Right. Thank you so much. His Excellencies, Deputy Director Generals of UNESCO, Mr. Singh Hu, His Excellency Ambassador, Alternate Permanent Delegates of Indonesia to UNESCO, Bapak Ismunandar, Her Excellencies Indonesia National Commission for UNESCO, Ms. Ica Khadijah, Executive Chairperson, His Excellency Chairman of Indonesia Creative City Network, Bapak Vicky Satari, His Excellency Assistant Director General of Cultures of UNESCO, Mr. Ernesto Otone, Excellency, the Co-Sherpa of Urban 20 Indonesia. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, all participants. There is a wealth of experience to delve from city to city cooperation at the international level. The looming challenges faced by cities are certainly different and curated by diverse conditions in each city. But to inspire and be inspired by what others do can help to advance the development. The Urban 20 is an initiative bridging mayors from the cities of the G20 countries. Within this framework, the Road to G20 Beyond Urban has been held as a collaboration between the UCP and the ICCN concerning climate resilience and actions, eventually resulting to this handover of urban solution recommendation taking place at the moment. Set in the framework of this year's G20 priorities issues, Beyond Urban highlights the importance of cross-cutting approaches and the collaboration among mayors, cities, representatives, and pivotal stakeholders. Having come this far, the U20 has also displayed an achievement by being able to envision a closer collaboration with the G20, specifically the climate and energy and culture's ministerial track. This proves that the works of U20 precisely concerning climate change has always been inextricable from the other G20 tracks. Indeed, climate change remains a global phenomenon that demands not only attention, but also concrete action. In 2021, the United Nations Framework's Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, stated that cities consume 78% of the world's energy and produce more than 60% of greenhouse gas emission. Albeit they have to cover only 2% of the world's surface. However, the multifaceted impact of climate change are pressing, ranging from the brunt in the health sectors, the utilization of IT to accelerate the ongoing recovery, and crucial goal of the net zero emission and path to achieve it. As we know, during Indonesian G20 presidency, the Governor of Jakarta, Bapak Anies Baswedan, will chair the 5th U20 cycle, with the Governor of West Java, Bapak Ridwan Kamil, will co-chair the Mayor Summit. These are 6 main areas in mind, namely economic and social recovery for all, productive and affordable housing, renewable energy transition, equal access to sustainable mobility, mental health and pandemic resilience, and the futures of work. The urban perspective in tackling the global issues is indubitably important. Cities can help in advancing the progress of Go Green action and start the habit of renewable and smart energy. As the urban solution recommendations speak for our common vision on climate resilience and action, it is my honor as the G20 co-Sherpa to receive the recommendation presented by Beyond Urban. I sincerely hope that by taking into account the recommendation, we can accelerate the progress of building climate resilience and action while our G20 priorities remain as the roadmap of implementation. Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi. Also, thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak to all of the participants for following this two-day plenaries of Beyond Urban Road to G20 Summit presented by the UNESCO Cities Platform or UCP in collaboration with the Indonesia Creative Cities Network or ICCN. Stories and updates from these events can also be reviewed on the official social media channels of the ICCN media. I hope to see you again at other events and chances, particularly following our journeys to the G20 Summit in Indonesia. Until we meet again, thank you very much.
Indonesia is a great country. We are blessed with strong people. Our communities are eminent. Our networks perform the creation concretely. Indonesia Creative Cities Network is here to acknowledge the challenges for materializing progressive and fair Indonesia. Hand in hand, we unify our spirit and determination from more than 200 creative cities communities throughout the country. We are striving for excellence, empowering each other, and waving the diversity to raise the creative ecosystem that lives and enlivens. embodying compassionate cities that celebrate the diversity in one strong movement, a creative collaboration for our nation.
Hi, I'm Tita, focal point of Bandung City of Design, and this is the Indonesia Creative Cities Network team. Together with UNESCO Cities Platform, we are going to hold the Beyond Urban online conference. Looking forward to see you there. See you!
Beyond Urban, a side event in the framework of U20 2022 Road to G20 Summit, a collaboration between UNESCO Cities Platform and Indonesia Creative Cities Network. Indonesia Creative Cities Network is a hub organization that connects creative communities and initiatives in more than 220 cities and regencies in Indonesia. All ICCN members are committed to implement the 10 principles of Indonesia Creative Cities and the creative economy ecosystem as ICCN frameworks that comply with the Sustainable Development Goal. On UNESCO celebration of World Cities Day 2021, the UCP launched the Urban Solutions, Adapting Cities for Climate Resilience, with a reflection on the G20 Priorities 2022, Global Health Architecture, Digital Transformation, and Sustainable Energy Transition. UCP and ICCN have developed a new series of urban solutions. Please join us in this 2 days online event that brings the local dimension and cities' contribution to the International Development Forum and agendas. Road to G20, Beyond Urban, on the 28th and 29th of July 2022.